or rumor, leading the list of the prohibition in Exodus 23, thou shalt not raise a false report. This is on page 67 in Welch's fabulous book. Brand new, just out, early or late last year, 2008. The spreading rumors and misunderstandings is the first step to bringing up false litigation and abusing the judicial system. So gossip and rumors almost always damage reputations and the standing of people in the community. And these were a community-based peoples. So according to the ancient laws, the punishments were pretty severe for doing this. This is the opposite of the idea of giving an oath. You give an oath, you have to live that oath. If you spread false rumors in a report, a false report is a false oath. If you swear falsely, you're in trouble. And so he brings out several of the ancient legal aspects of the idea of oaths that is extremely interesting. I won't get into a lot of the detail, but you get the point. Now, on this one, William Hamblin, in his excellent article, The Importance of Warfare in Book of Mormon Studies, this is out of the Book of Mormon Authorship Revisited, The Evidence for Ancient Origins, edited by Noel J. Reynolds. This is a 1997 book from Farms. Hamblin's analysis shows that the ancient military oaths were taken very seriously. And the Book of Mormon does emphasize oaths of loyalty from troops and oaths of surrender from prisoners, and this illustrates these ancient concepts very well. The Book of Mormon also presents a complex pattern of international relations, treaties, and diplomacy consistent with ancient Near Eastern practices. That's on page 536. On page 538, Stephen D. Ricks has demonstrated that certain elements of Israelite patterns of holy war were continued in the Book of Mormon, along with the important ancient idea that success in war was due fundamentally to the will of the gods, and therefore they swore oaths. The importance of oaths, showing the military practice and behavior, and the rallying of the troops, and so on and so forth. So that was interesting that in times of peace, and in times of warfare, these oaths are very, very important. In the book Warfare in the Book of Mormon, Terence L. Zink has shown that the Book of Mormon, there are two aspects to some of the military oaths that Captain Moroni made and brought upon the people. First, he gathers all the people together. He sends forth unto all parts of the land, and then he gathers together the armed people, and he puts them under an oath, a simile oath and a simile curse. He says this oath was taken as seriously as the biblical oaths, because we read, whomsoever of the Amalekites that would not enter into a covenant to support the cause of freedom, that they might maintain a free government, he, Moroni, caused to be put to death. And there were but few who denied the covenant of freedom. Alma 46:35. Now, Moroni's, and this is on page 43 and 44, Moroni's simile oath fits the model cast by such oaths in the ancient Near East and the Bible in general, both in form. There's a simple graphic action that is representing the punishment, and in its specific use, the gathering of a military force and ensuring the military's loyalty. That's how they did the oaths. Terence Zink's study, An Oath of Allegiance in the Book of Mormon, is really sensational. It's quite interesting to show how the oaths in military times worked very well as personal oaths, as Nephi demonstrated. And there's other oaths, there's other discussions of oaths by John Twetness. Oh, I can't find it right now. John Twetness, The Most Correct Book, discusses the significance of oaths in both the biblical world and the Book of Mormon, and he discusses the applications in personal terms as well as other ways. Well, this is more on the laws of war. This is again a repetition and rediscovering the Book of Mormon, insights you may have missed before, by John Sorensen, Melvin J. Thorne, that discuss the significance of oaths. In re-exploring the Book of Mormon, this is an interesting theme. The anti-Nephi-Lehies, once they converted, they took an oath never to go to war again. So they took an oath of exemption from military duty because they did not want to spill the blood of anyone. And so this is discussed here, that not only are the oaths in support of military support, but if you take an oath exempting yourself from military duty, then that has to be obeyed also. And they discuss the implications of the rabbinical aspects in the ancient Near East of those who swear not to go to war, as well as those, and how the laws of Deuteronomy were enacted, and so on and so forth. That's a kind of very interesting study in that respect. Nibley's book, Since Cumorah, is such an astonishing range of evidences and interesting ideas of the oaths of peace that the Lamanite takes. He talks about that, and the Malachi's followers take oaths, and Kishkumen. Now, this is interesting too, because the Gadianton robbers swore oaths among themselves with Kishkumen and Gadianhai and those to keep their secret works secret. And this almost caused the entire destruction of the Nephite nation. So this idea of oaths are very serious, whether they're taken in a good manner or a negative manner. The Book of Mormon properly reflects this ancient usage of oaths with all its types of varieties of applications as well. And that was important that Nephi established right at the outset how serious he was about getting those brass plates, and how serious he was in keeping their mission secret by bringing in Zoram. And his brothers, of course, all agreed. They said, yeah, Nephi says, our fears. He includes his brothers. They were terrified. Said, if this guy goes back to Jerusalem, he's going to give us away, man. He's going to go tell everyone, and they're going to come and hunt us down. So the only thing they could do is bring Zoram along with them through this power of oath-making. The Book of Mormon reflects that accurately. This shows it's a message from another time and another world, but it has direct application to us today. It's very interesting. Now, one other interesting aspect that Gardner brings out, once the sons went and got their wealth, and then they went to Laban and they said, look, we have all our wealth, we'll trade you. Wealth for the plates. And of course Laban saw that wealth and he got greedy, and he simply stole it from the kids and then sent his servants out to kill them. And we did flee before the servants of Laban, and we left our property behind, and it fell into the hands of Laban because of his greed. There's a lesson in that for us today. You know, the Hopis say that this fourth world is the materialistic world. In Frank Waters' The Book of the Hopi, which I've been pursuing now for the last few days, and other books on the Hopi that I'm studying, because I'm going to make some videos on the Hopi and their prophecies of the end of this fourth world, which unfortunately is going to end by fire, and that is hinted at in the Book of Mormon as well. One of the signs of the times is the greed of men whose hearts wax cold and who love money more than anything else. Now, if you don't think that's describing our day, you better start watching the news. It is pure greed to the tune of trillions of dollars of problems going on right now. The Gadianton robbers are alive and well, and we'd better start thinking about it. The Book of Mormon gives us two options. The famous doctrine of the two ways as found in all the ancient literatures, including the way of the Hopi. You can repent, or you can be destroyed. Laban's greed caused him not to repent. He had power and money. He sought for power and gain, the Nephite disease. And what was his result? He was destroyed. By his own sword, incidentally, later on in the narrative. That option's available for us. We are free at this point to do one of two things. Repent, change our hearts, quit setting our hearts upon the things of the world, or we'll be destroyed. Now, it's interesting that the Hopi prophecies describe not only the terrorism at the end of the Fourth Age. That's right, they mention that. Terrorism is the beginning of the end. Better start watching the news if you think that's not our age. And the Book of Mormon describes, as well as the Hopis, that the fourth world, the one we're in right now, because of the greed of mankind's hearts, it will be destroyed by fire.